Bruchim Aboim, B'Shem Egen Shir Torah, Moses Boston. I can welcome everyone to tonight's shir. Right, we begin to the exclusive sponsor of tonight's shir, Be'elam Shem, Le'ilui Neshomois, Gershon Yosef ben Avram Zev, Yitzchak ben Yeshua, Yosef Yitzchak ben Rav Yisrael, David ben Shloime, Shloime ben Moshe, Baruch Yaakov Yisrael ben Chaim Uri, Chaim Uri ben Yaakov Yisrael, Chaya bas Gershon Yosef, Yenta bas Meir, Sim Esther bas Chaim HaKohen, Rivka Miriam bas Chaim Yitzchak, Yitamindel bas David, Yechevel bas Chaim Yitzchak, Bracha Miriam bas Chaim Yitzchak, Aleim HaSholem, Tenish Mesem Tzuris B'Tzara Chaim. We would like to have the chus of sponsoring a shir, and we're having an abortus Torah worldwide of Egan Shir Torah. Call Egan Shir Torah at 718-851-8651 or email tapecenter@yeshivanet.com. Tonight we have the cover to have with us once again, Rabbi Avrohom Schorr, Shlita, Rav Besmenish Nezek Dal Yo, speak on being an Ehrliche Yid in today's society. It's my cover to call on Rav Schorr for today's drasha.
Shus and Chosh v'Neilem. It's Erev Tisha B'Av. We will try to discuss Tisha B'Av. Try to discuss the world around us. Many people will not like what I say, but I have a chiyuv to say the truth and to say what is not being said, not what is yet being said. The Gemara says in Masechtes Baba Kama Daf Samach Amid Beis. The Eibishter says, it says in the Torah Agdei Shaki Seitzei Eish Umotze Keitzim Shalom Yishalom Amave Es HaBe'era Oma HaKadosh Baruch Hu like the Heilige Bar Shefer Alai L'Shalom Es HaBe'era Asher B'yarti. I have to pay back the Be'era Asher B'yarti that I put on the fire. Ani Tzati Eish B'Tzion. I lit the fire in Tzion, Shanama vayotzes eish b'Tzion, v'toichel yisoidesel. V'ani osid lev'noisa b'eish, Shanama v'ani eya la'achoymes eish soviv, u'lekoved eya b'soicha. A Gemara which all of us are going to say, the tamtzis of it, on Menachem on Tisha B'Av. Ki b'eish yitzata, b'eish hata osid lev'noisa. But in the Gemara it says that we have kaviyochel, a tviyah to the Eibishter. Alai l'shalom l'haver sebeira. The Eibishter says himself that I have a chiyuv l'haver sebeira kaviyochel. So what is the reason that we're not zeichet to it? What's missing in the equation of the Gemara that we don't have the Alai L'Shalom Esabeira? We're waiting 1950 something years. Why? What happened in 1900 years is not my cheshbon, and not in the 1951 years. What's my cheshbon is now. Let's ask every one of our children or grandchildren, who burnt the Beis HaMikdash? And the answer will be Titus Rasha. So what's the main thing in Gemara? Aniyu she'etzati eish b'tzion. What does it mean that I lit the fire in Tzion? We're not going to say that on Menachem. We're going to say be'eish yitzata. But if you realize, it says that be'eish yitzata, you burnt it be'eish. But here it says in the Gemara, Ani yitzasi eish b'tzion. What do you mean, Ani yitzasi eish b'tzion? Titus. A Gemara we're all going to learn tomorrow night, Kamsa Bakamsa. We all know that Titus was Machav the Beis HaMikdash. What does it mean, Anisha Tzati Eish B'Tzion? What's the Yesodus of Emunah that we are going to take out of this Gemara? The Gemara says, Anikvus de Mishicha, Pnei Ador ki Pnei HaKelef, Dr. Rabbi Yisrael Salanta. What means Pnei Ador ki Pnei HaKelef? Dr. Rabbi Yisrael Salanta, that when you take a stick, and you take a long stick and you hit the Kelev sees the stick, he jumps at the stick. He doesn't realize that there's a person holding the stick. So Rabbi Salanta Pnei Ador ki Pnei HaKelef. In the Dor of Ikras and the Mashiach, we are going to be like Kolovim. We are going to jump at the stick, and that jump at what's behind the stick. What does Rabbi Salanta want from us? I'm going to say it in the most simple words. Who is not letting whatever is not letting? Who are we to blame for our problems? Others will tell you that his name is de Blasio. Others will tell you his name is Como. We'll find names. We even had the audacity to learn from the Schwarze to demonstrate. We even used the audacity to use the Sprach, Jewish Lives Matter. We lowered ourselves to the lowest of the lowest. All in the name of what? Of forgetting who is behind the stick. Sedari Beini Shalaylam. Sedari Beini Shalaylam was für the Welt. There's nothing happens because of anybody except because of their Hebishter. And that's the basic of Emunah and the Aleph base of Emunah. The Aleph base of Emunah is to realize that every exile that there is, and every patch that there is not the Eibishter. And as long as we are not going to remember that, we are going to blame Titus for Churban Beis HaMikdash. The Gemara tells us, I have a tiny to the Eibishter, Laila Shalom Esabeiro. Why? When you'll believe, Be'emunah Shleima, that Aniu She'etzati Eish B'Tzion, when that Emunah will be a clarity, as clear as it could be, that when Titus HaRasha was only a stick, and so the Ribono Shel Olam that was Itzati Eish B'Tzion, then you have the other side of the equation, that Allah L'Shalom Esabeira. But when you don't have that Emunah clear, and when that Emunah is blurry, then we don't realize that Aniu She'etzati Eish B'Tzion, and then the second half of the equation doesn't exist. There's no Alai L'Shalom because it wasn't Aniu She'etzati. In other words, what is our Avodah? Our Avodah is Emunah and Bitochin. Somebody will ask, where do I take it from that the Avodah of Tisha B'Av is Emunah and Bitochin? It's a dvarim pshutim ad mi'et. Chazal tell us the Bechiyah of Tisha B'Av comes from the Bechiyah of the Dor Midbar after the Chet of Meraglim. Atem Bechisem Bechiyah Shel Chinam Ani Ekvel Lechem Bechiyah L'Doros. What was Chet of Meraglim? What was Chet of Meraglim? Just to take the Chet of Meraglim and put it into words. Just say the right words. What was Chet of Meraglim? A lack of Emunah and Bitochin. The Oloi Nale of Kolev ben Yefuneh. The Oloi Nale of Kolev ben Yefuneh, that Kolev ben Yefuneh said, yeah. But Oloi Nale, the Eibishter said, will be able to go up even to Shamayim. That Oloi Nale was lacking. It was a chsaron emunah and bitachon. And if the 9 days of are here to be misaki in the chet of meraglim, as it says in Bnei Yissaschar, that the 21 days or the 22 days are separated, the 13 days of Tammuz are kechaneged the chet ha'egel, and the 9 days of Ov are kechaneged chet ha'meraglim, and the B'chia of Leil Tisha B'Av is associated with the B'chia of the Doira Midbar, we realize that our Avodah Tisha B'Av is Emunah B'Tachon. And to tell you the truth, it's already even more pashut by me. Because when we cry on Tisha B'Av, or let's put the question in better language, why is it that Doros HaKadmonim were able to cry? And why are we told how the Tisha B'Av looked like in the times of the Chassam Sofer, Ukedoime? And why is it that today we find it hard to cry? Because nobody cries over spilt milk. We only cry when we have Emunah and Bitachon. We only cry because we have Emunah in the Eibishter, that the Eibishter could bring back the Beis HaMikdash now. Let us repeat Esfas Emes and Lekutim, Aleph Beis of Emunah, a kasha nifla. It says in Chazal, Kol der shaloi nivne Beis HaMikdash kilu nechrav b'yomov. Ask us, let's ask every single person. What do you need? More schusim to build something, or schusim to save something from to get ruined? When I have something and I have to take it away from you, you have to do something very, very bad that I should take it away from you. But to give it to you, you have to earn it. What does it mean? No, we would have a Beis HaMikdash, our Averis wouldn't be machrif the Beis HaMikdash. But to get a Beis HaMikdash, to build a Beis HaMikdash, I need schusim. So how could you compare the Nechrav to the Lo Nivna? Sagt es Asemes, Meire dike Diburim. Meire dike Diburim, Rabbi Isai. By the Eibishter is Hoyo, Hoive, and Ye are all one. Why is there no Beis HaMikdash this right minute? Only because there's Churban this minute. If there would be no Churban this minute, it would be built automatically. Because Hoya, Hoiva, and Yeh is one. That means in every minute there's Churban again and again and again and again. And if in 1 minute there wouldn't be Churban, there would be Binyan. So if today it's not built, it's Kilu Nechrav. One of 3 terutzim that the Sasama says. How much Emunah do we need for that? How much do we have to chazer the Emunah of the Eibishter being Hoya, Hoive, V'yeh? The Aleph Beis of Shem Havaya, Yud-Kei, Vov-Kei, Hoya, Hoive, V'yeh. We say every day in davening, at least those who daven Sfard Zichar say it every day. Hashem Melech, Hashem Moloch, Hashem Yimloch, Le'olam Voed. We say it twice. The Aleph Beis of Emunah, Hashem Melech, Hashem Molech, Hashem Yimlech. Everybody will answer me, oh, we all believe that. But there's believing, there's believing. There's believing saying it, and there's believing living it, and there's believing that it becomes part of me. You know my proof that it doesn't, that we are not yet on the Madrega to believe Hoya Hoya, right? Because Hashem Melech, Hashem Molech, Hashem Yimlech is Begematria Mashiach. And it says in Svarim that that's what we need for Mashiach to come. The Emunah and Hashem Melech, Hashem Molech, Hashem Yimlech. And the Doris that had that Emunah realized the B'Shem English is here. Let me tell you, let's go a little bit deeper yet. Chazal mechayev us to cry on Tisha B'Av kilu meisei mutar lefanov. Halach in Shulchan Aruch. Kilu meisei mutar lefanov. Maybe it's kedai to say over a word for Rav Schwab Zatzal to realize what means meisei mutar lefanov. Here's some more of the kikasha. You learn Yirmiyah on Tisha B'Av, you have to skip Psukei Nechama. If we're going to listen to the Kriya on Tisha B'Av, Ata Reisa Ladas Ki Hashemu Elokim, we should skip it. It's Psukei Nechama. Other Psukim. The Rav Schwab a sharp word. A pachad von a word. When a person has meisei mutar lefanov and you start telling him, you know it's going to be good. Does the person have nechama, or the person says, what are you drawing me a cup? Here's my father laying in front of me, you're telling me it's good? You're hurting me. Nechama by meisei mutar lefanov, the Rav Schwab, is tsar. We have to have meisei mutar lefanov. What does it mean, meisei mutar lefanov? It's so many years since the Churban. How can I have meisei mutar lefanov? Maybe we just had the key to understand meisei mutar lefanov, the Sfas Emes and the Kutim. If you believe hoya hoy v'viyeh, and you believe that in this second right now, if I'll be zoiche, it'll be here. So Churban is now. And if Churban is now, it's meisei mutar lefanov. And those doiros before us that had Emunah the way it should be, were able to cry meisei mutar lefanov. So we have a deeper meaning why the avodah of Tisha B'Av is Emunah. One, because without Emunah, bitachon and gula asida, one can't cry. Because it's crying over spilt milk. And we can't narrow ourselves. Every person that's sitting here and every person listening admits b'peh mole that the week before Pesach, Tov Shem Pei, we're not in a different year yet, we're in the same year still. Tov Shem Pei, before Pesach, what was on the mind of everybody? Mashiach, 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 he's coming. He has to be, yeah? What happened? What happened? Life went back to normal. No more Mashiach. Life back into normal. I can make chassan already. I could go here, I could go there. Forgot about him already. I forgot about Mashiach already. I heard from my father, Zechariah Avrohom Schorr. It's not to laugh. It's sharp and Musa. That there was a Yid that was going bankrupt. Nobody knew. And a younger man went and took back his investment before he went bankrupt. And they asked him, how do you know you have Ruach HaKodesh? So he said, no, I heard him say Mashiach doesn't come, and I knew he was of Tzaris. Said, Nish kale Tzaris, Rabbi, it's us. It's us. It's our life. That's how we live. That's me and you, every one of us. That's our life. That's how we spoke Erev Pesach. What happened? What happened to us? What happened to our Emunah? Simekofia. Every day somebody else. Hatzolah every day was running. Okay, so we thought the world was going under. But Baruch Hashem, everything is back to normal. Life is normal. We went to the country. We sent our children to camps at the end of the day. Everything is normal. So what's the problem? It says in the pizza store, on the window, nobody took it down. Chadesh Yameinu Kikedem. Rachmana Litzlan. Chadesh Yameinu Kikedem. We're open. So our Emunah needs a big tikkun. Our Emunah needs a big tikkun. Why is everybody so afraid of the word Magefa? Why is everybody so afraid to label Magefa? And it wasn't a Magefa, the numbers aren't true. I know what everybody talks, we all know this, the Hakchasha. They're making up numbers, not so many people are sick, not so many people died. And it's all fictitious. It wasn't so bad. Why? Because we don't want to wake up. Pshutik mashmai. We want to forget about it. We want to put it out of our minds. We don't want to hear it. Aber Erev Tisha B'Av, we have to remember that the Rebbeinu Shalom sent us this year wake-up call, after wake-up call, after wake-up call. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. As if a tata wakes up a child to learn Kirishma, and the child doesn't want to get up, and he's a good tata, and he wakes him again, and he wakes him again, as if the Eibishter uns geweckt. You don't even remember that in Tovshin Pei that we started the year with Jersey City. It's out of our minds. The first wake-up call we got this year. And we got one wake-up call after another wake-up call, but we're going back to sleep. We're going back to sleep. We don't remember anymore. Oh, but the reason we have to remember the Aniyu She'etzati Eish B'tziyah. We have to remember, I said the Rebbeinu Shalom that sent Corona, said the Rebbeinu Shalom that sent us a message that it's Ish Esre'eu Chaim Beloi Ilimoli Merosh Al Malchus HaMishne Pekei Oveis Have Mispal B'Shloime Shal Malchus Ilimoli Merosh Al Malchus Ish Esre'eu Chaim Beloi. That's exactly the life that's living around us. It's a very big wake-up call. It's not a wake-up call. It's not a wake-up call that the world is hefker around us. Whoever doesn't feel in danger is because he's living in a false security. One after another, the Eibishter is here and telling us, wake up. Abasanish the Eibishter, I don't have to wake up. If it's the Blasio that took away money from the police, so what does it have to do with the Eibishter? The Blasio we have to take care of, not the police, not the Eibishter. Nothing to do with the Rebbeinu Shalom. That means every umgelik, every patch kommt von Heiligen Bashefer. That's limit number 1 in this Gemara. Limit number 2 in this Gemara. Limit number 2 in this Gemara. Ich habe gesehen von der Maschgiach, Hagoyin, Azadik, Moshe Wolfson Schlitte. Ein mürdige Kasche. Be'eshi Zato, Be'esh Ata Osid Levneisa. Aniu Shetzati Eish Beziyin. Ein Kaltege Nase Saneger. With that, the Eibishter was Machriv is going to build. You're going to use the Eish to build. Kommt, I made with Eish, I'll build with Mayim, I'll build with Ruach. Der Eibishter ist nicht kein Afkemene, was ist der Eish? Be'eish Yitzato, Be'eish Ata Osid Levneisa. A beautiful kasha. So here we go to learn our second lesson of Emunah. Our second lesson of Emunah. A murdical lesson in Emunah. We learned this week in Pirkei Avos. Ayin Tova, Ayin Ra. Rabbi Yeshua. What does Ayin Ra mean? Mishnah Perikei, Talmid of Shabila Marasha, Ayin Ra, Avrohom Avinu, Ayin Tova. Was meint Ayin Tova? Was meint Ayin Ra? There's a lot of teaching. There's a Sasemet in Parshas Nosai that tells us a new teich in Ayin Tova. A murdike teich, and it'll tell you why Ayin Tova is such a hard job. Ayin Tova means to see that everything that the Eibishter does is Tov. Das heißt Ayin Tova. Vorem Nifloim. Ayin Tova means seeing everything by the Eibishter is good. We say Shabbos, Ritzei. We finish Ritzei, we call the Eibishter Bal HaNechomes. What does that mean? What does it mean the Eibishter is Bal HaNechomes? How do we touch those words? We'll learn together as Sasemes and Parshas Vayetze. Lo Yaleinu v'lo Yalecha, a person sitting Shiva. And you come to be Menachem him. Are you able to be Menachem him? No. You walk out, he has the same tzar as he had before. You could be metashtish his moyach a little bit. You could talk to him and take his mind off it, but you're not Menachem him. There's only one nechama. The only nechama that's possible is that you see that whatever happened is good. That's the only true nechama. The Sasam is the only one who could be Menachem, that is only the Eibishter. Because the Eibishter could show you the picture. The Eibishter could show you the picture. He could show you exactly where it fits into the puzzle and how everything is good. So the Eibishter is Baal HaNechomes. He's the only one who can give Nechama. He's the only one who can give Nechama. Because the Eibishter shows that everything is good, and that's what he'll show La'asid. I'm not going to be marich in the pieces of Sasemes, the Kodesh. But we're talking about a new darga of Emunah. A darga of Emunah in believing as what the Eibishter does with me is toif. I can't see it. I could believe it. And you want to know something? Believing is greater than seeing. Believing is greater than seeing. A Yid came into the Kotzker Rebbe and told the Kotzker Rebbe that there the tzaddik sees the Spisen when they come into the Sukkah. And the Kotzker Rebbe answered, Ich seh nicht, aber ich gelebt. And it says in Sasemes in Sukkis, Doiris are the Rishonim were margish in the Sukkah murdika oiris. Va'onu ein onu yodei itonu yodei admo. We know nothing, but we are greater because we go into the Sukkah with Emunah. Emunah is greater than Riyah. Emunah is that I believe even though I don't see. And even though I can't understand, I believe. When I understand and I see, I don't believe. And that's the Emunah that the Yid has to have in Golus. Ve'emunascha b'leilos. In the darkness of the nights, our only thing that we have to keep us is Emunah. And from Emunah to go up to a madreg of Bitochain, as it says in Svarim, Bitochain is shleimus ha'emunah. Do you want to know what Emunah and Bitochain means? It says in Kisvei HaGramam, a Mendel Mishklov, a Talmud Muvak from the Heilige Goyim. Emunah Bitochain is Begematria Gan Eden. Because the Yid that has Emunah Bitochain is in Gan Eden. Where is he Gan Eden? Where is he Gan Eden? It's Dvarim Pshutim. What's Gan Eden? It says in the Torah, Vayanicheu beGan Eden. Gan Eden is Menucha. It says in Chayvus Halvavis that a person who has B'tochen is Zoichet to Menucha. So without anything heches, Pashat to Pshat, a person with Emunah and B'tochen, he's Zoichet to a dargo of Menuchas HaNefesh. He doesn't have Bahala. He doesn't have worries. Because he has Emunah in the Eibush and he has B'tochen. Why? Because I believe that it's good. I don't know. I don't know. It looks to me as black as could be. Aber ich habe Emunah, c'est gut. Und das fordert ihn von jeder Yid from the day he's Bar Mitzvah. And that Emunah is the answer to Rav Wolfson's kasha. And that's why the Alayla Shalom es HaBe'era, Shalom Yishalom Amav es HaBe'era needs another Emunah. It needs Emunah Aniyu she'etzati esh b'tzion u'mi'itoi lo yiteitzei harois. The Aniyu she'etzati b'esh b'tzion is no problem of Enkategen Nasa Seineger because the Eish was just like the Eish of Binyan. There was no difference between two Eishes. So in other words, the whole Gemara in Bava Kama, in order that we should be zoicha, to see with our eyes what a Yid is waiting for, and geleibt b'emunah shleima, Erev Tisha B'Av, it's possible, and we're waiting for it, and we're waiting for it. That's possible, and we can see it with our eyes. The Alay l'Shalom Amaves HaBe'era, what is the schlüssel for it? What is the key for it? The key is Emunah. Emunah. The Emunah is alles the Eibishter. And the Emunah, if alles is the Eibishter, is everything is in a one big picture of good. I don't see it. I don't see it. That's also Chesron in Emunah. The Heilige Chofetz Chaim. Heilige Chofetz Chaim. I heard it from my father, if not, I wouldn't say it over. Because mices need bedika. But the Heilige Chofetz Chaim once called together the whole city. Why? Because there was a mice in Stott. A Yid, an older Yid, a dog took him. And the dog took him around the whole city, schlepped him around the whole city until he died. Versteht sich, als umgelegt? Is vatom kol, almost like we were to read it before Pesach, almost like that. Is the Chofetz Chaim realized that the Emunah von Yidden was schwach. The Chofetz Chaim gesagt, jeder soll kommen zu ihm. The Chofetz Chaim said a moshel. A Yid walked into shul, he was a guest in a Besmedrish. He walked into shul. And he stands there, and after davening, he goes over to the Gabba. I don't understand. He said, a Yid of Mizrach was Ken Shas, why didn't you give him an Aliyah? Sagt him the Chofetz Chaim. Sagt him the Gabba to the Yid, I'm sorry, last week I gave this person, 2 weeks ago I gave this person. You're here for one Shabbos, you're asking Kashas. Sagt the Heilige Chofetz Chaim, I remember when I was a young person, there was an almana with children that lived a tenant by this Yid, and they didn't have to pay rent, and he took them in the middle of the night in the cold, in the winter cold of those areas, and he put them out on the outside. Aber der Eibishter ist Erech Apayim. 60 years later hat der Eibishter mal gezahlt. Amor de Kemaisa Chofetz Chaim. But we're not going to dwell on the Maisa of Chofetz Chaim. We're going to dwell on the Kudah was the Chofetz Chaim hat uns gelernt. The Bria is 6,000 years. From Bereshis bis Sof Bria, it was 6,000, maybe a little bit more, it says Noisis Rabbi Kiva, a few more years. That years by us, we have no idea to look at it right. But if we go back to where we started to tonight, And we spoke about Hoya Hoiva V'yeh. What's meant Hoya Hoiva V'yeh in 6,000 years? That year Aleph and year Hey Alof and Tov Shem Pei are automatically one big picture. So what's fragst you don't understand Hey Alof and Tov Shem Pei? But Hey Alof and Tov Shem Pei is built on Aleph and Beis and Gimel and something that happened in Aleph and something that happened in Alpayim. Was bist du? Was kannst du reden? You're here on the world 60 years out of 5,780 years and you want to understand? You want to understand the Eibishter, was the Eibishter is loy machshavosai machshavosechem. You want to understand it with your seichel. Why, what, when? It's impossible for you to understand. It's impossible for you to encompass the picture. Or you have to be a moment to realize that you can't encompass the picture. Mit darf gelebt in neue Häufe wie hier, mit darf gelebt mit der Eibishter beschaffen der Welt. What did the Chavetz Chaim do? When the Chavetz Chaim had to read the moment, nobody knows today what this means anymore. But there was a newspaper called The Moment. It was a leftist newspaper that wrote Kfira. But the Chavetz Chaim was manigader. He had to know what was written. The Chavetz Chaim read The Moment. What did he do afterwards? So in our mind, there's no problem, right? We could, I don't want to go into any chas v'shalom, touch anybody. But all of us read something that's a little bit left. Somewhat left. I call put him left of him. Every person has a left. And every person dwells and goes and looks a little bit what the left has to say or what the left wrote. And if he doesn't know himself, someone will send him, this article is good to read, and that article is good to read. And we read a little bit, things that are not under exactly our hashkafa. So we have a problem with it. Chavetz Chaim should have a problem with it. You know what the Chavetz Chaim did when he finished reading The Moment? Et harausgenommen a Chumash und gelehnt Sheishes Yemei Bereishis. The Heilige Chavetz Chaim, after he finished reading the article in The Moment, und sit him gebrannt. Kfira! I just read Kfira. I did it l'shem shamayim, but what am I going to do about it? Bereishis bar alikim es ha-shamayim ve'es haaretz. I'm going to chazas it all by the oilam of the Welt. A moeilijke limut van Chavetz Chaim. A poshet the pasuk Chumash. You don't have to read no books. You don't have to read no stories. The Eibishter's Torah is the oilam of the Welt. Lein sheishes yemei bereishis. Moeilijke limut van Chavetz Chaim. Learn the Torah. Learn the Eibishter. The Eibishter gave us Emunah. The Eibishter gave us a Torah that learns us Emunah, that teaches us Emunah. And there's nothing else that could help us. I don't remember even what the topic tonight was, but it was a topic of dealing with the world. Rabbi Isai, let's face it. A Mammon has no problem with the world. A Mammon has no problem with the world. Because a Mammon has his way that he could live through everything with Emunah. Emunah is something that takes you through every problem what there is. Technology is not a necessity if you have Emunah and Bitochen. No way. No way. There's no way in the world that someone could say it's a necessity. The world out there is not going to bother me because the Eibishter is here. I'll repeat a ma'aseh that I had. Could be I said it here once, but it's kedai to repeat. Either a year ago summer or 2 years ago summer. I walked into a store Erev Shabbos to buy tzarchei Shabbos. I went to Ehrliche Yid. The Ehrliche Yid spoke to me about Shmiras Hanayim. A good thing to hear all the time. And he told me a dover nifla. He's told me the following. You'll be walking with Rav Elyashiv. You'll be walking with Reb Shlomo Zalman. You'll be walking with Asat Merov. I said, Gein Ashik saying aus Saprutza. You'll pick up your eyes to look at her? No. You're walking with Rabbi Yashiv. I'm not going to look at that. Sagt think a minute, the Eibishter is da, the Eibishter is da. You're walking with the Eibishter. Dvarim Neiroim. Dvarim Neiroim. Emunah. Emunah is the answer to every problem. Am gelebt, am geht mit den Eibishten. So it reminds me that we have to say a word on Eicha. 3 words, Eicha, Yoshva, Bodot. What do these words mean? Steht in Chesed Avrohom von Radomske. A neure dicke word, Rabbi say. A word that you should say over in your house, a word that you should say over at work, a word you say over the Talmidim, a word that's a mitzvah lefarsim. Steht in Erster Ramon Shulchan Aruch. And if there would be a child here, I would ask him to come and say the Lashon because he probably knows the Lashon, because there isn't a child that doesn't know the first Ramon Shulchan Aruch, because that's a basic Judaism. That's basic Judaism, the first Ramon Shulchan Aruch. Shivisi Hashem le'negdi somet. Steht in Erster Ramah, the Lashon from Meir Neveichem, Eine doima Adam, sheyoyshe bebeisai leyoyshe b'lefnei HaMelech. Schreit Yirmiyah Novi, Eicha, how could it be? Yoshvat Klal Yisrael didn't know they were sitting with the Eibishter, and they thought they're sitting bodot. They thought they're sitting alone. You heard Apshat Naposik. Eicha, how could it be? Yoshva, you're sitting bodot alone. Alone, du sitzt dich mit den Eibishten. So I showed I didn't know this word a week before Pesach. And all the people that said their children aren't with them, but they say there, what man sie gedacht empfern? What do you mean you don't have nobody by the Seder? Das ist der Eibishter beim Seder. Was heißt Bodot? Du bist mit den Eibishten. Eicha Yoshva Bodot. How does a Yid say he's Bodot? A Yid kemel is Bodot. A Yid is mitten bei der Olam. If we would have that Emunah, of course we would be able to deal with the world. The world wouldn't be a problem to us. So was ist unser Avodah Erev Tisha B'Av? Chazen, Aleph Beis, Emunah B'tochen, Ov, Rosh Tevis, Emunah B'tochen. Chazen Aleph Beis, Chazen Hoy V'Yeh, Chazen Anoich Hashem Elekecha, Chazen Shivisi Hashem Le'negdi Somet, Chazen the Yud Gimel Ikrim, Lernen as a da B'Olam of the world. Then our Tisha B'Av will be a different Tisha B'Av. It'll be a different Tisha B'Av. It's a Tisha B'Av from Priya, Mitzatzpiyah to the Osid. A Tisha B'Av that will be able to cry. You'll be able to cry because you'll feel the Churban, as we spoke, and you'll feel the Osid. I said, hoffening, weil ich habe Emunen betochen in Eibishten. And if we'll have Emunen betochen in Eibishten, which that's the avoid of their ikvis of the Mashiach. Our avoid is Emunah. To turn back to the Eibishten. Lashon HaMishnah, Anu ein lanu lishoin, Elo alavinu shebeshamayim. What does the Mishnah mean? Turn back. Turn back to the Eibishter. Realize that nobody can help you. You know that the Eibishter told us nobody can help me? He thought that the doctors knew what they're talking about. They still don't know what they're talking about. They still are tapping a vant. They're still a tapping a vant. You don't even know what they're finding out today about the corona. They're finding out today about corona, that people who had corona that didn't go to the hospital and they weren't so sick have damage to the heart. Rahman al-Islam. Rahman al-Islam. Because they know 0.0 about this and they're finding out every day something else. And you know the easiest way to cope with it? And they don't know what they're talking about. It's all lies. There aren't so many people sick, and there aren't so many people who are this, and they're exaggerating, and finished. Then I can live, and I have no problem whatsoever. Aber wir dürfen gedenken, an der Eibster hat uns gelernt. We have nobody to verlassen. There's no Anhaga, there's no leadership, there's nothing. Everything is klar. Ein Ribeine Shalom haben wir und ein Lanu li Shoin Elo Alavino Sheva Shomayim nur auf ein Ribeine Shalom. Das hat der Eibste uns gewollt. In der Zisrael da a Wertel. Also da a Posik, Swas lo Yadati Eshma. Swas ist Tovshim Pei. In Tovshim Pei ist lo Yadati Eshma. Et men Herren lo Yodati. Es ist sehr gute Wörtel, aber es liegt in der Mamure dicke Sach, that we have to realize, lo Yodati, I don't know nothing. And alles is der Eibishter. And then we will turn to the Eibishter. And if we will turn to the Eibishter, we'll be zeicha to see with our eyes the Geula b'mheira b'yameinu. Try my best for now. More than I can.
Shem Yirgin Shir Torah, was is bossen like a big Ashikoyach to Rav Schorr for the fire Dividend Chizuk V'Soyrus. But a big Ashikoyach to the exclusive sponsor of tonight's Shir Be'elim Shem, Lilin Neshomas, Gershon Yosef ben Avram Zev, Yitzchak ben Yeshua, Yosef Yitzchak ben Avisrael, David ben Shlomo, Shlomo ben Moshe, Baruch Yaakov Yisrael ben Chaim Uri, Chaim Uri ben Yaakov Yisrael, Chai bas Gershon Yosef, Yenta bas Meir, Sim Esther bas Chaim HaKohen, Yifka Miriam bas Chaim Yitzchak, Yita Mindel bas David, Yechevet bas Chaim Yitzchak, Bracha Miriel bas Chaim Yitzchak, Aleim Shalom, Tenesh B'Seim Tzurus B'Sar HaChaim. Rabbi Isai, Irgun Shir Torah lies on the Sibur to sponsor the Shiurim and to donate to support Irgun Shir Torah to bring these inspiring drushes to the Sibur worldwide. Call Irgun Shir Torah at 718-851-8651 or 718-853-3950 or email tapecenter@yeshivanet.com for this great schus, or you can make use of one of the pushkis throughout the shul, or there's a credit card machine up front. Yeshagach to everyone for coming. Chananya ben Akashim, Rotzakarish Baruch Hu Lazakes is Yisrael. The Fikr Hebron Tay Mitzvah Shenema. Adonai Chofes Aman Tzidka Yagdol Torah V'Yadir. Gadol V'Gadol Shnei Rabba. Gadol V'Gadol Shnei Rabba.